Hey, Canucks Nation, Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Atlas Canucks. You've got it locked in the line change, the Vancouver Canucks podcast.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Game 6, our Game 6 watch party. Game is getting set to get started, but welcome everyone here who is watching over on X as well as YouTube. Should be a good night. The Carolina Hurricanes are one win away from winning the Stanley Cup. The last time they did so was in, I believe, I want to say 06. Let me make sure I'm correct on that. Stanley Cup. Yeah, it was 2006. The last time Carolina won the Stanley Cup with Rob the Bod. So, like I said, Carolina one win away from winning the Stanley Cup. They have a chance to do it in Vegas here tonight, as they just announced the Cup is in the building. So we'll see if Carolina can win yet again, or if Vegas can force a Game 7 in Carolina, which I believe would be, Tuesday, I want to say, Sorry, these games have me all mixed up. Like, I thought this game was supposed to be yesterday, and then it ended up being today. That kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop, but welcome everyone who's here. Just a quick reminder on how you can get involved in today's show. You can like the video, you can subscribe, you can hit us up with the super chat. You can also buy a membership, upgrade your membership, and you can use your monthly membership message. Those are the ways you can get involved with this live stream watch party here today. Looks like Steve Aoki is in Vegas here, pumping up the crowd as they're getting set for a puck drop in a matter of minutes. But let's take a look at some stats here, if they allow us to do it. But we'll take a look at these stats. These are obviously from the season, but how about how Brandon Bussy's played the last two games, won both of his last two games. His first ever playoff win was in not the last game, but the game prior to that. And then he's 2-0 to start him in the playoffs. And man, what a story Brandon Bussy has been for the Carolina Hurricanes. Remember at one point, a lot of Carolina Hurricanes fans were like, Kochetkov is the goalie of the future for the Carolina Hurricanes. And as you can see from these stats, sure, he was 6-2 on the season, but he only played 8 games for the Hurricanes. The majority of the games were played by Bussy and Freddie Anderson. Obviously, you can see there Bussy winning 31 games, 6 losses, 2 shutouts. Freddie Anderson, 16 wins, 14 losses. So the majority of the games Bussy played. So he was their guy during the season. And then Anderson kind of turned it up towards the end of the season there, and, of course, during the playoffs. But, yeah, just think of that for a second. At one point, we all thought Kochetkov was the goaltender of the future for the Hurricanes, and then along comes Brandon Bussy, and it's now, I guess you could argue that it's Bussy's team now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments on the rise of Brandon Bussy for the Carolina Hurricanes, and let me know what your score predictions are for Game 6 between the Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, your score predictions. Are we going to see another 4-goal performance, or not performance, but 4 goals allowed by Carter Hart of the Vegas Golden Knights? Let me know. Are we going to see that for a 6th straight game? Let me know in the chat what you guys think, and let me know what your predictions are for this game, as we're I can't really see how much time before they actually drop the puck. But, they're going to pump up this Game 6 here. Wouldn't be surprised if we actually get puck drop in about 5 or 10 minutes. But while we have the time, let's go over what we will be talking about in the first intermission and the second intermission. The first intermission, we are actually going to be going over this article from our friends over at Canucks Army. This one is what the Canucks can learn from how the two Stanley Cup finalists built their teams. So this article actually has a whole lot of relevance for this watch party, as we're, of course, watching the two Stanley Cup finalists play in Game 6. And I just thought this was a very interesting article from our buddy Tyson Cole. So we're going to go over this in the first intermission. We're going to run through it, talk about it. And then in the second intermission, I figured we could do a mock draft in the second intermission from the Draft Prospects Prospect Don's website and his simulator. We'll go over that. We'll do a fun little mock draft, and then that'll be the second intermission, and then we'll obviously get into the third period. So yeah, that is the plan for this show, and hopefully we get ourselves another good game. It looks like they're showing what is that, Brandon Bussey? But yeah, we're getting ready here. Waiting for you guys. You guys can pile into the chat. We can. By the way, a big shout out to Mark from NHL Draft Pros. I had a blast doing that mock draft with him the other day. It was obviously very successful, and yeah, we'll definitely be having Mark from NHL Draft Pros on the channel once again. Perhaps maybe even after the draft, we'll do like a reaction to what all unfolds in about a little over 2 weeks at the draft. We'll do that. Also, we're going to be having Izzy Chung on the podcast soon, and then I'll let you guys know when that ends up happening. We're really excited to have Izzy on. So that is coming up. So a lot of stuff coming up here on the Line Change. As you can tell, I've been posting almost every day. So lots and lots of content coming up until the draft. And of course, we'll be doing a live stream on both days of the draft. So be on the lookout for that as well. They're doing some sort of skit with Kyle Bukakis and the Stanley Cup. I don't know what this is. Yeah, maybe looks like we're going to another commercial break before puck drop. So yeah, they're really milking this intro, but you can expect that. It's just the Stanley Cup after all. So probably gonna have like puck drop around like 5:15 maybe. So, but yeah, I guess while we wait, let's go look at something here. Something. Yeah, while we wait, we got some news that we could quickly talk about here. Here, let me just quickly share this. That's it. Loads. That is. Come on now. There we go. Okay, so we'll share this real quick. So we got some Canuck news. Apparently, Marco Rossi recently met. So he's the latest Canuck to get married. Of course, we know Brock Besser got married. I believe it was back in May. Marco Rossi just became the latest Canucks player to get married. This one written by our buddy Trevor Beggs. What a whirlwind last few months have been for one of the newest members of the Canucks. Although whirlwinds are nothing new for Marco Rossi. Over the past 6 months, Rossi was traded to the Canucks from Minnesota, played through injury, which at one point was touted as potentially career-ending. Then he returned and found his game as a young leader on a rebuilding team. Now Rossi has tied the knot as well. The Austrian center posted on Instagram Friday that he got married to his longtime girlfriend, Stephanie. Although the wedding location was unclear, it appears to be in Rossi's home country of Austria. His new wife, Stephanie, recently posted bachelorette photos from a Western Austrian hotel the previous weekend. So there's the happy couple. Big congratulations to Margot Rossi on getting married. The 24-year-old is the second known Canuck this offseason to get married. Back in May, Brock Besser's wife showed off photos from his wedding. Last summer, Elias Pettersson, Philip Hedl, and Kiefer Sherwood were among Canuck players to tie the knot. Getting married at the age of 24 may sound a little young for most in Canada, considering the average age of marriage is 31 years old for women and 32 years old for men. Well, apparently no one told me that because I got married at 25. So, however, Rossi has shown a maturity beyond his years, shaped largely by his Christian faith and the hardships he's endured through his hockey career. When you're young, you don't really appreciate as much when you're healthy, but when you go through a lot, you appreciate the little things way more, and it gives you a different perspective of life. So great stuff there from Marco Rossi. Once again, big congratulations to Marco Rossi on getting married. And that is great news. Yeah, so we'll go back to here. Like I said, the Stanley Cup is in the building. They're showing it right now, being rolled into the building with Craig. And we are getting set for this one to start. As Vegas is doing their, I don't know what this is. Is this Daft Punk drums or something? Vegas with the spectacle stuff. Gotta love it. Oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Oh yeah, this is pretty dope. This is good. I mean, as much flack as Vegas gets, this is pretty cool that they can put on these types of shows. You know, we've of course seen from like, you know, the Sphere and stuff like that. They really know how to put on a show. That is something I will give Vegas. even though I don't want them to win. I want Carolina all day, baby. There we go. Talking about Steve Aoki here. Yeah, we got the national anthems going on. All right, Rio, we're getting set. Wow, Alex Petrangelo in the building. Oh, Brandon Bussey in goal for the Carolina Hurricanes, and it looks like Carter Hart's getting the start for Vegas. There we go. Puck is about to be dropped. Oh, quick whistle here. There we go. Face off won by Vegas. Puck down into Vegas zone. No, Carolina almost stole it there. Down into the Carolina zone. Ooh, big hit on Walker. Vegas keeps it in. Hurricanes pick it up. Mike Stone with a quick shot. Turned to the side by Bussy. Hey, Harry. How's it going, buddy? Shot just goes wide. Nope. Hurricanes are able to get it out and down into the Vegas zone. Vegas with it, chips it out. Howden. Oh. I'm just going to grab it. There we go. That's better. Jackson Blake. Oh, good chance. I knew something felt a little off. No hat. All right, Carolina with it in their own zone. Passed up. Past center ice into the Vegas zone. That's going to be icing. No shots on goal for either side yet. All right, face off to the left of Brandon Bussy. Vegas wins the draw. In front, Carolina is able to steer it away. It'll be icing once again. All right, face off once again to the left of Bussy. Face off won by Eichel. Here comes Carolina. They chip it in. Quick shot on. That might have been our first shot on goal. Aho tried a shot. Yep, we got our first shot. It goes to Carolina. Now here comes Carolina. Down into the Vegas zone. Carolina is able to keep it in, but Vegas regains control of it. Yeah, it looks like that puck is out of play. So only one shot on goal between these two sides. 16:43 left in the first. Carolina are able to get it out. Here comes Carolina as they chip it down into the Vegas zone. That puck's going to go out of play again. So Vegas has won 6 straight game 6s, dating back to 2021. All right, here comes Vegas. Carolina gets it again. Here comes Carolina. Taylor Hall scores! Let's go, baby. What a shot. Are they playing Drew McIntyre's theme? Yeah, 1-0 Carolina here. 2 shots on goal for Carolina, and they're up 1-0. So there's goal number 1 for Carter Hart. Carolina with it. Shot and a save by Hart. Yeah, it makes you wonder if Hart allows 4 goals again, before the third, are they going to go with Aiden Hill with it being, do or die? We'll see. Knowing Torts, he probably won't, though. Oh, Miller evaded that hit there. Where's the puck? Oh, there it is. Vegas with it. Dumped into Carolina zone. Bussy. Vegas with it. Oh, gives it away. Carolina. Stahl, who's been a beast. Dumped back in by Carolina. And it's going to go all the way down to Carolina zone. Vegas with it. Carolina is able to chip it out again. That's going to be icing. Guys, if you haven't yet, go ahead and let me know what your score predictions are in the chat. What do you think the final score is going to be in this one? And who do you think is going to win? Let me know down below in the chat. Oh, Bussy, Vegas had a chance there. Shots are now 4-1 for Carolina. So Vegas finally on the shot board. Here comes Taylor Hall again. Chips it down around the net. Stankoven to the corner. Sharp ankle shot there by Miller. Couldn't knock that one down. Back to the point. Hall with a one-timer. Missed the net. Chips it in. Centering pass was intercepted. Cleared down into Vegas zone. Carolina within the corner. Sharp angle shot. Oh, just missed the net. Svechnikov. Carolina really pressing here. Ooh. Oh, oh. Aho chips it in. Aho back to the point. Over to Ghosty Bear. Carolina with it behind the net. Chipped up. Vegas with it. Chipped down into the Carolina zone. Here comes Carolina. Carrier. Stall. Shots are now 5-1 for Carolina. Chip. Here comes Dorofeev. Eichel now. Shot deflected. Dorofeev. Wow. That was freaking close. Oh, man. That was close. Quick commercial here. But man, Carolina are really coming out flying on this one. All right. Once again, you guys in the YouTube live chat, give me your final score predictions. Let me know in the live chat. All right, we're back. Here we go. Oh, they just showed a better replay of angle of that. Oh man. Man, I love Bussy. Quick whistle. Woo. Excuse me. All right. We go Carolina with it around the net. Stall. So Sean Walker chips it in. Here comes. Whoa, excuse me. There you go. Carolina with it, coming in. Taylor Hall with a shot wide. And they're going to see we're getting a penalty here. So yeah, Vegas is going to the power play. Goalie interference. All right, quick little commercial here. So I stand corrected. It's not goalie interference. It is tripping, drawn by Carter Hart. Hits are 7 apiece so far in this one. Blocks are 3-1 in favor of Carolina. Shots on goal are 5-3 in favor of Carolina. Vegas outdoing Carolina in the faceoff dot right now at 80%. Carolina only had a 20%. So Carolina's going to have to turn that around if they want to, win this one. Puck all the way down into the Vegas zone. A little over 9 minutes left in the first period. There comes, offside. Busty with a big save there. Marner. Oh, looks like there's going to be another penalty. Hurdle with a penalty, face-off violation. So we're 4-on-4 now. Shots are now 5-4 in favor of Carolina. Goes to with a big shot off the draw, saved by Hart. Here we go, another face-off. This one to the left of Hart. Carolina wins it. In the corner. We can now by that. 50 seconds left in 4-on-4. There it comes. Saved by Bussy. There's the shot. That's going to go out of play. Vegas wins the draw. Puck battle in the corner. There you go. Taylor Hall. Okay, Carolina's gonna go on a brief power play here. Oh, Goss's Ghosty Bear. Oh! In front, Martin up. Saved by Hart. Just barely. In front. Oh. Here comes Carolina again. Here comes Eichel. Stahl gives it away. Vegas with it. Chip down into the Carolina zone. Back to Miller. Ooh. That puck's going to go out of play. Less than 5 minutes left in the first period. Carolina still. Oh, my goodness. Man, that save by. Quick little commercial here. No. Puck in the corner. Here comes Vegas. Ripped down into Carolina zone. Here comes Carolina. Whoa! It's like there's going to be a penalty on Eichel. So 2 minutes for hooking on Eichel. Svechnikov. One timer, saved by Hart. Carolina with it. Back to the point. Back to Aho. Aho with it again. Oh, and he bobbles the puck. There. Oh, Ghosty Bear. Svechnikov. Down low. Puck is cleared. 10 seconds left in this power play. Looks like the Hurricanes are going to be 0 for 2 on the power play now. Vegas now pressing. Another penalty coming up. Shot saved by Bussy. So Vegas is going to go on the power play again. Stank Daddy. Someone's stick just broke. I think that's Chatfield's. Eichel with it. Behind the net. Shot. Saved by Bussy. Scramble in front. Carolina clears it. Marner wide. In front. Big save by Bussy. And that's going to be the end of the first period. What a save by Bussy there. All right, we're moving into our first intermission. So let's get to our article that we're going to be reading. Just going to turn this down a bit. There we go. So, as I mentioned off the top, we're going to be checking this article out because I figured it was, convenient and, makes sense considering that we are watching Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And this involves the two teams that are in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, the title of this article is What the Canucks Can Learn from How the Two Stanley Cup Finalists Built Their Teams. This, of course, written by our good buddy Tyson Cole over at Canucks Army. Come every June, when the Stanley Cup final matchup is set, teams around the league will look at the road the two finalists took to get hockey's greatest challenge. We don't mean road in terms of who they beat to get to the final, but from the start, how did they build the team that ultimately landed them competing for the Stanley Cup? And then you're in the Vancouver Canucks situation, starting their rebuild from scratch. They need to be a sponge and soak up all of the strategies to help them get to the pinnacle of hockey. Both of these teams built their rosters very differently from a traditional rebuilding standpoint. Typically, teams will stockpile draft capital and develop their own homegrown talent before acquiring the necessary complementary pieces around their core. That's not how Vegas or Carolina have done things. Of their current roster, the Hurricanes have drafted and developed 6 players: Sebastian Aho, Jackson Blake, Seth Jarvis, Alexander Nikishin, Jacob Slavin, and Andrei Svechnikov acquired 6 players through trades: Taylor Hall, Mark Jankowski, Jordan Martinook, Keandre Miller, Jordan Stahl, and Logan Stankoven. 7 signing as unrestricted free agents: Freddie Anderson, William Carrier, Jalen Chatfield, Nikolai Ehlers, Shane Gostisbehere, Eric Robinson, and Sean Walker, and picked up 1 on waivers, that being, of course, Brandon Bussi, which is, at this point, a brilliant move. A brilliant move by Carolina. Meanwhile, the Vegas Golden Knights have just 1 drafted and developed player, that being Pavel Dorofeyev. Traded for 13 of their roster players, you have Rasmus Anderson, Ivan Barbashev, Nick Dowd, Jack Eichel, Noah Hannafin, Tomas Hertl, Aiden Hill, Jeremy Lauzon, Mitch Marner, Colton Sissons, Cole Smith, Mark Stone, and Shea Theodore. Signed 4 players via free agency: Dylan Coughlin, Carter Hart, Brett Howden, and Keegan Colasar. And have 2 expansion players remaining in William Karlsson and Braden McNabb. In total, that's just 7 of the 40 nightly roster players in the Stanley Cup Final who were drafted and developed by their current team, yet nearly half of the players, 19, were acquired via a trade, putting a slight damper on the rebuild through the draft theory. Still, teams must draft and develop players before they can move them for the right piece to help them over the edge. But there are some lessons we think the Canucks should adopt from these two teams. Give me one quick second here. There we go. Anyway, so the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights are known as one of the most cutthroat organizations in the NHL. They are aggressive on the trade market and are totally unafraid to move on from players who no longer fit their vision. Exhibit A was how they handled the 2023 Conn Smythe winner and franchise-leading goal scorer at the time, Jonathan Marchessault, as an unrestricted free agent in 2024. Marchessault went on the Cam and Strick podcast in September that season and shed some light on the contract situation with Vegas. In Vegas, I called the GM, Kelly McCrimmon, on Friday. I called the president, George McPhee, on Saturday. I'm like, what's going on? What do you guys want to do? I need to know, are you guys actually letting me go for real? And when Sunday showed up, nothing was budging. Marchessault said, adding that he was asking for a 4-year contract, but the Golden Knights were offering 3. Marchessault wound up walking in free agency, signing a 5-year, $5.5 million AAV contract with the Nashville Predators. Even before that, the backstabbing of fan favorite goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury when he found out about his trade to the Chicago Blackhawks via Twitter, and his agent Alan Walsh tweeted an infamous photo of a knife through Fleury's back after 4 great seasons with the organization. And of course, what happened this season behind the bench, they let go of their Stanley Cup winning head coach Bruce Cassidy with just 8 games remaining in the season, and are now withholding him from speaking to other teams around the league for his next job. But the fact that Vegas is this cutthroat and treats hockey like a business is a massive contributing factor as to why they've had so much success over their 9-year NHL existence. Being cutthroat is something we want to see the Canucks inherit as they dive into this lengthy rebuild. The Canucks find themselves in a tricky situation moving forward because they just don't really have many positive assets that can turn into futures right now. They have a couple in Philip Hronek and Elias Pettersson, who have grown to be fan favorites over the years, but there really hasn't been much talk about a willingness to move either of those guys from this new Canucks regime. Both players have full no movement clauses, so it will ultimately come down to them whether they want to leave. However, taking a page out of the Golden Knights book to be cutthroat enough to force their hand into a move for the betterment of the team's future is something the Canucks should consider. They want to expedite the rebuild and move off 2 players who will be mid-30s before they are competing again. Taking a look at the Carolina Hurricanes are near polar opposites of the Vegas Golden Knights in terms of how they are viewed around the league. They are a well-managed, structured, and forward-thinking organization, which has led to their 8-year run of playoff runs, advancing to the second round in all but one of those years, and 3 trips to the Eastern Conference Final. We would attribute much of their success to their impressive drafting, but the biggest factor has to be their forward-thinking mentality. When the Hurricanes see something in a player, they don't wait to acquire or extend them. They play a successful system under Rod Brind'Amour and headhunt players that fit their playing style and often acquire them on the cheap. Speaking of cheap, just look at their books. The Hurricanes are so good at getting ahead of contracts, which now look like stellar contracts. Last offseason, the Hurricanes extended Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake to massive 8-year deals, Stankoven earning $6 million and Blake earning $5.11 million annually. At the time they signed their contracts, Stankoven's size raised questions about his ability to play down the middle of the ice, and Blake had just 34 career points and 1 full NHL season under his belt. Yet the Hurricanes knew they had something in these players and locked them up to lengthy extensions. Fast forward to present day, and Stankoven and Blake have been 2/3 of the Hurricanes' best line in these playoffs. Blake shares the team lead with line mate Taylor Hall in playoff points, and while Stankoven leads the team in goals, 3 behind Howden for the league lead. If those players waited until this offseason to extend, their cap hit would be much, much higher given what they've produced this postseason. This strategy doesn't always work. The Hurricanes did the same with Jesperi Kotkaniemi, signing him to an 8-year, $4.82 million extension in 2022. Since signing that deal, Kotkaniemi has had, try to say that 5 times fast. Kotkaniemi has had seasons of 27 points in 79 games, 33 points in 78 games, and just 9 points in 42 games this past season. He's been a healthy scratch for all 18 playoff games this season and is likely trending toward either moving on or a trip to the American League. But when it does work out, it gives teams that extra bit of cap room to spend in free agency on impact players, as the Hurricanes did this past summer by signing Nikolai Ehlers to a 6-year, $8.5 million contract. This strategy involves risk and trust in your talent evaluators and development staff, but it pays off in a big way when it hits. The Canucks have the opportunity to get out ahead of contracts this summer. You've got your Liam Ogren, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Aatu Räty, Steve Buium, and Elias Pettersson all become extension eligible on July 1st. Likely only Buium and maybe Ogren have shown enough at the NHL level to warrant placing a big bet with lengthy extensions. However, it seemed to work out well for the Hurricanes when they extended Blake after just 81 NHL games. Do the Canucks believe in their long-term outlook enough to get ahead of their extensions this summer? It's an important offseason as this is the final year teams can offer 8-year deals. The Canucks see some of those extension eligible players as core pieces moving forward, then it's probably best to bet on them now before they break out and their yearly salary skyrockets. There is no perfect model for building a Stanley Cup champion. Many former Cup winners have different strategies and stories about how they climbed to the top of the NHL mountain. But as the Canucks load up for what is projected to be a long-term building process, they should look at the Golden Knights' cutthroat approach and use the Hurricanes' as forward thinking as starting points to help shape the next successful era of hockey in Vancouver. So there's that article. Once again, great stuff by my guy, Tyson Cole. Check out his stuff over at Canucks Army. He writes some great stuff. And also check out him and Dave Hall on the Canucks Army YouTube channel for their weekly podcast, Blackfish, where they talk all things prospects. Got a lot of good stuff there. Quite the dynamic duo between Dave Hall and Tyson Cole. So definitely go check them out over there. But that's it for that article. Let's see if there's anything else we can quickly glance at while we wait for this intermission. Why am I so tired? Actually, let's check this out real quick. I like this. Canucks top 10 BC-born prospects available in the 2026 NHL Draft. This one written by our buddy Quads. In recent years, there's been plenty of talk about the Vancouver Canucks needing to acquire more Canadian players, and yes, more players born in British Columbia. Whether that be via trade, free agency, or the draft, many fans have wanted to see the Canucks acquire players who grew up as Canuck fans, but since Macklin Celebrating and Connor Bedard are still a few years away from hitting unrestricted free agency, at which point they'll obviously immediately sign with the Canucks. Okay, I like that from Quads. We thought it would be the most appropriate to turn our attention to the upcoming NHL Draft as a source in which the Canucks can add some BC blood or some BC buds to their organization. Here are the top 10 BC-born prospects available in the 2026 NHL Draft. First up, you have Ryan Lynn. Now, there's little doubt that Richmond-born defenseman Ryan Lynn will be the first BC product selected in this year's draft, a right-shot defenseman. Lynn played his junior hockey just down the road with the Vancouver Giants. In his draft season, Lynn tallied 57 points in 53 games. Lynn is committed to the University of Denver in the NCAA for next season. Daily Faceoff's latest mock draft, Stephen Ellis had Lynn going 15th overall to the St. Louis Blues. Lynn has looked like a complete two-way defenseman since his age 16 season, using his strong skating ability effectively at both ends of the ice. Oh yeah. Number 2, Mathis Preston. While Lynn likely won't be available for the Canucks at 24th overall and would be an obviously ridiculous reach at 3rd overall, there is a BC-born player and Vancouver Giant who could realistically be available to them at 24th overall. Hailing from Penticton, BC, Mathis Preston played 10 games with the Giants this season after the Spokane Chiefs traded him ahead of the WHL trade deadline. On the whole, Preston put up 42 points in 46 games this past season, including 12 points in his 10 games with the Vancouver Giants. Preston possesses an NHL-ready shot and has legitimate top 6 potential. Daily Faceoff's latest mock draft has him going 23rd to the Boston Bruins, but if he's available at 24, he'd be a great option for the Canucks, and I completely 100% agree on that. Number 3, you have Liam Ruck. The Ruck twins became quite a prominent story in the hockey world this season. They scored some absolutely breathtaking highlight reel goals with the Medicine Hat Tigers this season. While they don't really seem keen on being compared to Daniel and Henrik Sedin, they certainly showed some Sedin-like chemistry on multiple occasions. Liam is ranked higher of the two brothers, and Daily Faceoff's latest mock has him at 30th overall. Could the Canucks take him at 24th? Maybe, but they could also select him at 33rd overall if he's still available, and they'd potentially be able to select his brother at 41st overall with the pick they got from San Jose in the Kiefer Sherwood trade. Number 4, Marcus Ruck. Marcus has long been viewed as the brother who would go lower in the draft, but his 108 points certainly deserve some respect. Marcus put up 21 goals and 87 assists through 68 games with Medicine Hat this past season, leading the WHL in both assists and total points. Marcus added 13 points in 15 playoff games as well. The Osoyoos-born twins haven't been shy about talking about their desire to be drafted by the same team, and the Canucks aren't the only team with a late first and multiple second-round picks to make it happen. Of course, we know the Calgary Flames are believed to be interested in the twin brothers as well and hold the 30th or 31st, depending on the outcome of the Stanley Cup Final, 35th, 36th, 51st, and 56th overall picks. All of those picks are before the third round. Keep an eye on them as competition with the Canucks to draft the Rook twins. Number 5, you have Chase Harrington. Hailing from Prince George, BC, Chase Harrington tallied 28 goals and 29 assists through 61 games with the Spokane Chiefs, producing at a near point-per-game clip in his draft year. Daily Faceoff has him ranked 50th among all draft eligible prospects, but other outlets see a world where the 6'1" winger is available in the third round. From Stephen Ellis, he's built like a rocket, or a rocket launcher rather. He wants to send you flying anytime he can. He's very dangerous around the net, and he's flashy too. I think there's a clear path for him as an energy forward in the NHL who could step up into a bigger role if needed. Number 6, Ethan McKenzie, another Richmond-born defenseman. Ethan McKenzie was actually draft eligible last season and did a lot to raise his stock as an overager this past season. He led all Edmonton Oil Kings defensemen in points with 58 and 59 games and was the number 1 all situations defenseman on a loaded Edmonton blue line. The Peachland, BC native product plays big and isn't afraid to throw big hits. From the Elite Prospects Draft Guide, McKenzie never stops working and battling. He plays an ultra-aggressive defensive game, closing on opponents as they receive the puck, throwing crushing hits, beating down net front attackers, and constantly scanning and moving. His powerful, active skating enables this high-octane style. It's easy to look at McKenzie's draft +2 status and disregard him entirely, but if an NHL team picked him in either of the last 2 drafts, he'd be talked about as a massive steal. Number 7, Joe Iginla. If you believe bloodlines matter, then you can't do much better than taking Joe Iginla with a flyer pick. Iginla's numbers certainly don't pop off the page. 21 points through 37 games with Spokane and 10 through 22 with Vancouver, but he has an interesting profile that might be worth taking a chance on with a later round pick. From the Elite Prospects Draft Guide, he has yet to translate his gaudy U15 production and dynamic skill to the WHL level. Instead, he is more of a details-based player who leverages his physical game and effort to make a difference. A retrieval machine, Iginla outworks opponents in battles, establishes the forecheck, and regularly extends the cycle, playing a linear but hard-working style. So we're going to quickly switch back over to the game because we are going to be starting the second. But we will finish off that article in the next intermission, and then also we'll do our mock draft in the next intermission. What's up, Alfred? How's it going, buddy? Okay. All right, we're back now. Vegas still on the power play here. Shot saved by Bussy, and Carolina is able to get it out. All right, penalty's over. Shots are 9-12 in favor of Vegas now. Here's Jarvis. Wasn't able to handle the pass there, or the puck there. Here it comes. Here comes Carolina. Vegas intercepts it. whistle. Carolina 10-1 all-time record when leading a series 3-2. Toasty Bear. Back down to the Carolina, and then it's going to be icing. Bussy covers it to the whistle. There we go. Face off. It's going to be another icing. Chip down into the Vegas zone. Oh! Here comes Vegas. Stop by Hart. Jordan Stahl. Yeah. Stahl didn't look like he had a whole lot of gas. Dump down into the Carolina zone. Hurdle. Ooh. Here comes Vegas. Hurdle. Saved by Bussy. Vegas keeps it in, though. Carolina pumps it out. Icing. Yeah, Bussy's fucking dialed in, man. Puck out of play. Dump down. Oh. Block shot there. Kept in by Carolina. And puck goes out of the zone. Icing on Vegas. Here comes Vegas. Oh, missed the net. Vegas with that. Vegas. Oh. Stankoven missed the net. Here comes Vegas. Ooh. Here comes Taylor Hall. Comes Vegas. Might be a penalty here. Ooh. Waiting for the face-off here. Talking about Rod the Bod. Shots are 14-11 in favor of Vegas now. Chipped out. Here comes Vegas. Vegas dumps it back down. Dump down in. Here comes Vegas. Hurdle. Dump down into Carolina's zone. Icing on Vegas. Oh, what? Slavin is so good. is up 1 by Carolina. Chip down into the Vegas zone. Oh. Here comes Vegas. Can be icing. Oh, just out of Stankoven's reach. Carolina with it. Vegas with it. Battle for it in the corner. Somebody's lost their stick. To the point. Slavin. Back to Slavin. Ehlers with it. Nick Dowd is the one who's missing his stick. Slavin with it. Puck out of play. We're going to a quick commercial here. All right, I'm going to be right back. Take advantage of this quick commercial break. So I will be right back. Look at that. Perfect timing. Oh. Icing on Vegas. That's Edge's name. Ooh. Be another icing. Oh. Scores! So that is now 2 on Carter Hart. Oh, that went off the stick of Marner. Yeah, right there. Can't blame Hart on that one. So it's 2-0 Carolina now. Jackson Blank assisted by Stank Daddy. Oh. Oh. Cool. All right, here we go. We're back now. Here comes Carolina. Earl. go. Puck at center ice. Here comes Wheeler's shot. Ooh. Oh! Here comes Vegas. Round behind the net. Carolina's able to get it out. Shot. Vegas with it now. Bringing it up. They dump it in. Let's see, we got a penalty. Rasmus Anderson going to the box. So Carolina is going to the power play. Here comes Ghosty Bear. Around the boards. Oh! What a save by Hart. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Hey, Harry. Hey, Harry. I'm doing all right. You? I hope so. Looking good already. But yeah, big shout out and thank you to Brother BKL Sport Entertainment Show. Appreciate the love for all the way out from the South Bronx. Quick shot in on Vegas. Totally ready. Absolutely ready for it. I can't freaking wait, man. It's going to be good. Yeah, it's still a toss-up for me. If you were the GM of the Canucks, would you choose Chase Reed or Caleb Malhotra? Like I said, it's a bit of a toss-up for me. But between these two particular, I'm leaning towards Malhotra. Between Reed and Malhotra, I'm leaning towards Malhotra. But we'll see. All right, just about the end of the second period here. Yeah, very true. Very true. And that's the end of the second period. So we're going to the third period. The Canes up by a score of 2. But of course, as I said on the broadcast, a 2-goal lead is not safe in a series like this. After all, we saw a 4-goal lead earlier on in the series, and Carolina came back from that. Yeah. That would be something else for sure. But let's switch back over here that we were talking about in the first intermission. So right now we're actually checking out an article on Canucks Army talking about 10 BC-born prospects that are available in this year's draft for the Canucks to take. We left off at number 8 before the second period started. So we were about to talk about Gavin, and I'm probably going to butcher this last name, Lesiuk. Did not tally many points with the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Oh, Lethbridge. This past season, but the 6'5", 221-pounder from Duncan, BC certainly racked up the penalty minutes. Lesiuk ranked 7th in the WHL with 106 penalty minutes this past season. Lesiuk doesn't try to be something he's not, delivering crushing body checks, forcing turnovers, and sticking up for his teammates. A profile like this is always an intriguing one because with improvements to skating and puck skills, you could have a unicorn on your hands. Number 9, we have Riley Steen, a left-handed defenseman. Riley Steen's point totals might not show it, but there's more to the story here. Here's what Elite Prospects had to say about the Ladysmith, BC native. Despite meager production, Steen is constantly noticeable offensively. He's always pinching down the walls and activating into space. With a limited role on a strong offensive team, it's tough to gauge how much Steen's success was the consequence of playing against weaker forwards. On the flip side, it's hard for defenders to get momentum playing limited minutes. He's a wild card, but as one of the youngest players in the class and with a standout element, activity, he could become a top-end WHL defenseman and push for an NHL role in the future. Number 10, we have Hunter Ora coming in at 5'10", 168 pounds. Hunter Ora is an undersized left-shot defenseman who put up 40 points in 64 games with the Calgary Hitmen. The Kamloops native is thought to be a 6th or 7th round option, but it's just as possible that he goes undrafted. And that is the end of that article. So great stuff from my boy quads. So definitely check out all the articles over on Canucks Army. They have some great stuff, as always. But let's dive into the mock draft simulator. Twins are one of the few teams. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's them and Calgary are two of the few teams that could easily do it. Of us getting Lynn, but he might not be available when we pick at 24th. So he's probably going to go maybe top 10. But yeah. Who would I trade to acquire both of them? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't necessarily think we might have to trade to get them. But it would certainly help if we traded, give us a bit more of a guarantee. But I do think they're kind of going to fall in our lap at some point. Like potentially. So I don't know if you would need to just. Let's go ahead and let's do this mock draft. All right, let's go to start draft. I think we're lagging a little bit here, so I apologize for that. Keep in mind, I've also been streaming for 2 hours now, so that might be it. All right, so we're going to do one round. We're going to pick the Canucks, and we're going to do standard. All right, so for the Leafs, I'm going to go Gavin McKenna just because it's – or actually, let's change up what the rankings are. Let's go with consensus. Yeah, we're going to go with consensus. And we're going to go, obviously, Gavin McKenna, Toronto. For San Jose, I know I did in my mock draft with NHL Draft Pros, I said Chase Reed. I think they're going to take Chase Reed. And, of course, people are like, oh, they're not going to pick Reed. But just for the sake of this one, I'm just going to go Stenberg at 2. And then this one, I'm going to go Malholzer with this one. I'm going to stick with my gut on that one. Now, 4, this is going to be an interesting one because normally if I would go Reed at 2nd overall, this is where I would have Ivar Stenberg. But for Chicago, I'm going to go a little off board here. And I'm going to go Vigo Bjork at 4 to Chicago. So now we have the Rangers. I'm going to go Chase Reed for the Rangers. So Reed drops to 5. And for the Flames, I'm I'm going to go Carson Carrolls with the Flames. And then Keaton Verhoff with the Kraken. And the Jets. I'm going to go Albert Smith. Albert Smets for the Jets. For the Jets. Pick number 9. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Ethan Belchitz at number 9 for the Panthers. Nashville at number 10. I'm going to go Tynan Lawrence to the Preds. St. Louis, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Daxton Rudolph for St. Louis's first of 3 picks here in the first round. Number 12, I really like the idea of Wyatt Cullen to the Devils, so I'm going to go with Wyatt Cullen. Islanders. I'm going to go Oscar Hemming to the Islanders. Or no. I'm going to go Dagenais to the Islanders at. Whoa. Nah. Shit. Picked, double picked. I did not mean to do that. What? Okay, so for St. Louis, it auto picked. That's what it is. Okay. Washington at 16. I've been really high on, like I mentioned with Mark on NHL Draft Pros, really big on Klepov going to the Capitals. I just really like it, so I'm gonna stick with that. Nikita Klepov at 16. LA Kings. I'm gonna go with Dagenais for that one. Capitals again at 18. I mean, here's the thing too. You could also go Klepov at 18 too with the Capitals instead of 16. For this one, I'm going to go JP Hurlbert. You two are Mammoth. I'm going to go Villeneuve to the Mammoth, 19. San Jose Sharks. Who did I pick? All right, I picked Stenberg for earlier. So I went forward earlier. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Tommy Blyle to the Sharks at 20. And we got the Flyers. I'm going to go Adam Novotny. Pittsburgh. I'm going to go Gustafsson. Bruins. I'm going to go Elton Hermanson, just for an off-the-board kind of thing. So here's the Canucks. Okay. So it's between Morozov, Preston, and Preston for me right now. Who do you think the Canucks should pick? I'll admit I'm kind of leaning towards Morozov on this one. All right, screw it. I'm gonna go Morozov, 24th overall. I like that. Maybe we can get Preston with our 33rd overall pick. Seattle Kraken, I'm gonna go Hackinson. New York Rangers. I'm gonna go Alexander Command to the Rangers. Buffalo Sabres. I don't know. This one's a tricky one. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna let it do auto. I can't really think. They went Pantelis. St. Louis Blues at 29. I think St. Louis goes with Preston if he's available at that point. Calgary Flames at 30. I'm going to say Calgary gets Liam at 30. Carolina. Wait, what? Oh, it went. Damn it. I was going to go Pete Ryan into the Hurricanes. But I guess I go with Shabakov for Carolina. And then Ottawa, number 32. I'm going to go Brooks Rogowski to the Senators. And there we go. So we got Gavin McKenna going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ivar Stenberg going to the San Jose Sharks. Caleb Mahalja going to the Canucks. Vigo Bjork going to the Chicago Blackhawks at number 4. Chase Reed going to the New York Rangers at number 5. Carson Carrolls to the Flames at number 6. Keaton Veerhoff to the Seattle Kraken at number 7. Albert Smeets going to the Winnipeg Jets at number 8. Ethan Belchitz going to the Florida Panthers at 9. Tynan Lawrence going to the Nashville Predators at number 10. Daxon Rudolph going 11th to the St. Louis Blues. Wyatt Cullen going to the New Jersey Devils at number 12. You have Oscar Hemming going to the Islanders at number 13. Oliver Suvanto going 14 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then you have Ryan Lynn going 15th overall to the St. Louis Blues. And then 16th overall, you have Nikita Klepov. And then you have Maddox Dagenet going 17th overall to the LA Kings. JP Hobart going 18th overall to the Washington Capitals. Like I said, you could probably flip these two around if you really wanted to. Xavier Villeneuve going 19th overall to Utah. Then you have Tommy Blyle going 20th overall to San Jose. So they go with a forward with their second overall pick, and they go with a defenseman with the 20th overall pick. Adam Novotny going 21st overall to the Philadelphia Flyers. 22, Pittsburgh selects Malte Gustafsson. Then 23, Boston selects Elton Hermanson. 24, the Canucks go with Ilya Morozov. Number 25, is William Hackinson to the Seattle Kraken. Number 26, you have Alexander Command going to the New York Rangers. That is actually a bit of an interesting one. Not going to lie. Juho Piiparainen goes to Buffalo, the 27th overall pick. Then you have Georgios Pantelis going 28th overall to the Montreal Canadiens. You have Mathis Presson going 29th overall to the St. Louis Blues. Then you have Calgary selecting Liam Ruck with the 30th overall pick. And then you have Nikita Sherbakov going 31st overall to the Carolina Hurricanes. Then you round it out with Brooks Rogowski going 32nd overall to the Ottawa Senators. And there is the mock draft right there. And Elvis is in the building. So game is back. So we're going to share this instead. Is the third overall pick usually? Sometimes, for the most part, yeah. But it won't be Caleb this year because remember he's going to college. So we probably won't see Caleb if we end up drafting Caleb for like at least 2 years. Maybe 1 year. He might spend 1 year in college. So, but this game is back. We're in the third period. Shots are 16-14 in favor of the Golden Knights. Here comes Vegas. Oh, nice move. That's going to be a whistle. Is Brandon Coots ready to suit up for the Canucks next season? Potentially. Depends on how he does, I think, in training camp. I was talking about this with Ben Lipko of Abbey News, and he thinks that Coots should play exclusively in Abbotsford next year. Get at least a season or a year in Abbotsford under his belt and then move up. And I honestly actually agree with him on that. I think that would be very helpful for Coots and his development. But hey, if he wows in training camp again, then obviously you got to bring him up. So, but to answer your question, Harry, I do think he's ready. But I think it would be, better if he, spent a year down in Abbotsford and just, kind of like marinated down there and then came up. All right, here comes Vegas now. Chipped in. That's going to be out of play. Would you give? Wait, Seelovs? What do you mean? Oh, Tolo. Oh, yeah. I was. Well, Tolo's on the main roster, so he can't get sent down without having to clear through waivers. Remember? So yeah, Tolo has to clear waivers in order to get sent down. So I personally think the Canucks are going to go with 3 goalies to start the season, just because you don't want to risk, speaking of Seelovs, you don't want to risk losing Tolo to waivers. So Oh, Vegas had a chance there. Vegas was pressing. So yeah, I do think he's ready to play full time, but yeah, Canucks are a bit of in a sticky situation when it comes to their goaltending for sure, because they have Demko, they have Lankinen. Excuse me, and we also don't know what's going to happen with Demko yet. I know he had that surgery, and that he's hoping that this surgery has put an end to all these injury woes, but right now we just don't know if that's actually going to happen. We literally have to wait until the season starts and see how he plays to actually understand that. So, yeah, same here. Like, I really do hope this latest surgery fixed the problem. I really do. I really, really do hope it did. But I'm still concerned. Do I think they rushed Demko in that? I do think that they relied on him a little too much, for sure, and maybe overplayed him a little too much. There we go. Vegas with the puck. Up past center ice down into Carolina zone. That's going to be another icing. Here, I want to. Do I think Troy Stetcher could make a possible comeback? I actually like the idea of that, bringing back Stetcher. I really liked him. I know I believe he's really good friends with Besser. So I would really like the idea of Stetcher coming back for sure. I like that idea. Now, as far as do I think it could be possible? Maybe. We'll see. I mean, he didn't rule it out when he was on Donnie and Dolly, so. Carolina with it. Ooh. And we're going to our first commercial here, real quick. And how many years do I think Curtis Douglas will get? I don't know, maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't know. I haven't really looked too much into his contract or the contract projections for him. But I think it'll be like a short-term deal for sure. While we're on commercial, I want to quickly bring this up. Just quickly share this. Let's check this out. If you guys haven't yet, check this video out. This one was a really, really good one. I really enjoyed doing with Mark from NHL Draft Pros that I mentioned earlier. Definitely go check this guy out. It's at over 1,000 views so far. So thank you guys for checking this one out. About 47 minutes long, and we go through the top 32. We basically do almost kind of the same thing we just did with that mock draft. We go through every single team, who we think they would pick in the first round. So definitely go check that video out when you get a chance to. Really very proud of that one. Also, while you guys are at it, you guys can check out this one. This is my most recent one, where we talk about 7 steps to the Vancouver Canucks' rebuild, and especially in particular this offseason. We go through 7 steps that the Canucks must do, including, trading veteran contracts, their draft strategy, being, pick best player available, and of course, remembering the September 15th deadline for contract extensions and the CBA. So we talk about that in that video as well. Definitely go check that one out, as well as the NHL mock draft with Mark from NHL Draft Pros. Definitely check that video out there. So there we go. We'll get back to this one because we're back. There we go. Oh, Carolina almost had a third goal right there. Vegas right there. There we go. Here comes Carolina. Taylor Hall. It's going to be icing. Looks like there's going to be a high stick. No, Carolina dumps it down. Band on it. Marner. Oh. Oh, Bussy! Oh, it went out the crossbar. Buck Eichel is stunned. And Carolina gets it out. Shot. Oh. Off the blocker there. Dumped around. Back around the net. Jankowski with it. Carolina dumps it back in. Here comes Vegas. Ooh. Vegas keeps it in. And that's going to be icing. Yeah, he was a little firecracker. Oh, that was a... Okay, that was... He kind of left his feet there on that hit. Yeah, he kind of he left his feet there. You could tell. He kind of jumped a bit. Canucks didn't get rid of Jalen Chappie. Do you think it would have helped them? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Chatfield's a good depth guy, so probably would be a good presence in the locker room too if you had Chatfield. But I don't really think Chatfield is a needle mover though. So, but I did like him though, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely did. Oh, there she is. Excuse me. All right, we're at final 5 minutes of this third period. Carolina still leading 2-0. Shots are 20-17 in favor of, I believe it's Carolina right now. Ooh. Yeah, 20-17. Shots are 4-3 in favor of Carolina here in this third period. Ouch. Ooh. Ouch. I got the hiccups for some reason. Is Vegas going to pull a goalie? Maybe. Who knows? You never know with Torts, man. Icing. Nice save by Bussy. Yeah. They won back in 2006. All right, goalie's pulled. Yeah. The 2005-2006 season, they beat the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. All right. A little over 2.5 minutes. Oh, Bussy! Holy crap, Bussy. Oh. Hurdle just could not lift that puck, man. Holy crap. Yeah. Like, I don't know how he made that save. And I don't know how freaking Hurdle doesn't elevate that puck, get that puck up. I know it was a bit of a rolling puck, but man. Is Anderson injured? He might be. I don't know. Maybe they saw how good Bussy's been in the last 2 games. They probably didn't want to mess with that. So that's probably why they went with Bussy again. But I haven't really looked too much into this, but I think there could be a possibility he could be injured. Oh, offside. Yes, he is. Absolutely. 100%. I love Bussy. Man, what a steal getting him off waivers. What a frick. And now he's in the Stanley Cup Finals. And he's 2 minutes and 14 seconds away from winning the Stanley Cup. What a great move by Carolina. Oh, don't tease me like that, Harry. Oh, I wish. I'd take Bussy any day of the freaking week. Oh! I reiterate, I'll take Bussy any day. Yeah, just enough for icing there. I mean, oh. I mean, I don't know about over Demko. I mean, if you like ignore the injury stuff, if the injury stuff does not exist, probably not. But definitely over Lanky for sure. For sure. So Vegas is calling a timeout. $1.25 left on the clock. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, this year wasn't that great for Lanky, but it wasn't terrible. Could have been a lot worse. I'm not really surprised about it. So scores. Now Carolina can just take a breath. Less than a minute left. Shots are 22 even. It's over. Carolina. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've actually been wanting to get one for quite some time. And I really do like those white away jerseys they have. Favorite player? Oh, that's a tough one, buddy. I like a lot of players from the Hurricanes. I like Stankoven. I like Aho. I like Svechnikov. Obviously, Bussy. Um, Jarvis. I like Kochetkov. I like. So yeah, it's kind of hard to choose. But I think just for tonight and today, I'm gonna say Bussy. Oh yeah, I forgot about Ehlers as well. Oh yeah, I'm really happy for Carolina. I'm just happy for Stank Daddy. Man, Toronto fans are gonna give it to Marner now. You know who else I'm happy for? I'm happy for Taylor Hall too. You're doing the clap. Cue the booze. Jordan Stahl. Wow. Jordan Stahl, Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Well deserved. There she is. Yeah. Oh, freaking deserves this, man. Someone else who deserves it, freaking Slavin. Ghosty Bear. Where's Bossy? What's up, Connor? Yeah, and I 100% agree. Yeah, I agree. Only a matter of time. There's Bussy, baby. Yeah, goes from being signed off of waivers to a Stanley Cup champion. Wow. Yeah, Brendan Moore's one heck of a coach. Hopefully, Manny Malhotra can kind of, we talked about previously him kind of modeling himself after Martin St. Louis. I think he could learn, maybe even model himself after like a Brendan Moore. Excuse me. Sorry. Stank Daddy hoisting the Stanley Cup now. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Rod Brendamore. Oh, he's not even hoisting it above his head. There we go. Mm. That was really good from Rod. How would you sum up the changes that have been made in management? I think that I've been happy with them so far. No, I obviously I don't know too much about obviously the assistant GM they hired the other day, Richard Seeley, but over the next little bit I'll look into him a bit more. I actually have a video coming out talking about him tomorrow. But I'm okay with that move. It seems like a good move, especially based off of his prior success with the Ontario Reign. And then adding in Darren, again, I don't know too much about him, but I'm hearing nothing but good things about it. So I think the changes they've made have been, good and been right. And now all the attention turns to the NHL draft. Now, of course, that is when you can really, look at their decisions and what they end up doing at the draft. So I completely agree with you on that one there, Connor. I just want the season to start. Yeah, I'm ready for the season already. Yeah, I'm the same way. Hang on, I'm just going to stop sharing. Okay, we don't need that one anymore. There we go. Back to the full view now. Also, those of you in the live chat, just a reminder of ways you can get involved. You can like the video, you can subscribe, you can hit us up with a super chat, buy a membership, upgrade your membership, and you can use your monthly membership message. But I'm torn. I'm still torn. I've talked about this already. I'm torn between Malhotra and Stenberg. I even jokingly said on when I was talking with Mark from NHL Draft Pros, if we could have both Stenberg and Malhotra, do it. Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, that's great for them. I'm happy for them. All more I mean, it gets more eyeballs on THPN, which have been nothing but great to me. So, yeah. They're talking to Freddie right now. I guess they're talking about Claude Lemieux. Yeah, that's a good point there, Connor. Yeah, definitely. Very well could have been Natus on this. Then again, you never know because remember Taylor Hall was part of the Natus trade, so. And then also they probably wouldn't have had Stankoven because of the Rantanen stuff. I guess they're all just passing it around again. Yeah, yeah, you're definitely right there. I mean, just think how Winnipeg thinks. Ehlers leaves in free agency, signs with Carolina, and then wins the Stanley Cup. I mean, not necessarily the same as getting traded, but yeah, imagine how Winnipeg feels. Losing Ehlers and then he goes on and wins the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's a good comparison right there too. Yeah, there's a very good point there. Well, I guess this means Torts is gonna have to go back to Carolina to grab his things because didn't he say that he was leaving them in Carolina because they'd be back here for Game 7? Well, looks like you got a flight to catch and to go grab your stuff there, bud. Yeah, like I just said. Matthews Productions, first off, welcome. They need a bit better defense. Who you were referring to, Carolina or Vegas? I assume you're talking about Carolina. And you were right. They probably could use a little bit more D. I mean, they got Slavin. Slavin's obviously good defensively. They got Keandre Miller. But yeah, they could probably. They're kind of missing a name, like that big name on defense. That star defenseman for sure, like a Werenski and stuff, something like that. I do agree with that. They are missing that. Canes, yeah, just. Although you have to admit, it's a little. No, I got to say now, even though he didn't play, Kotkaniemi is a Stanley Cup champion now. And he could potentially play in the American League next year. Don't take my word for that. That's obviously the article we read earlier saying there's a chance he could be sent down. So yeah, you're right. Matthews Production, yeah. If it works out, win a cup, can't really complain about it. Yeah, true. Definitely true. Yeah, there's my boy Busty. Man, his story is so crazy. Like I keep talking about, he's on waivers. They sign him off waivers, and like back in October, now here he is, June 14th, and he hoisted the Stanley Cup. Nuts. Crazy. Who do you think will win next year? I don't know. That's might be a little too early to think about that. Kind of want to see how training camps go and whatnot, and preseason, or even like the draft, even or free agency. Yeah, that's a little too early for me to think about. But I guess we'll see for sure. It looks like all the families are coming out. Oh, he got it. I didn't see that part. All right. All right. Well, there you go. Carolina Hurricanes are the Stanley Cup champions. And yeah, but yeah, I guess that just about does it for our watch party. Thank you to everybody who watched along and who were in the chat. Matthew Productions, Connor Cahill, obviously Harry earlier. Who else was in here? Brother BKL Sport Entertainment Show. Appreciate the shout out. Same thing with my boy Alfred. And of course, this was yesterday, Justin. Like I said at the top, I thought this game was going to be yesterday. That's why there's Justin was in there. But anywho, thank you guys again for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. Like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't yet, check out my video with NHL Draft Pros, or I should say Mark from NHL Draft Pros. Go ahead, check that video out. We did a top 32 mock draft. Really good stuff. Also, I did a video talking about the Canucks' rebuild, or the Sedin's rebuild roadmap. Check that video out on the channel as well. You'll probably quite enjoy that one. So, but that's going to do it for me. Appreciate every single one of you once again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or live stream. We will of course be going live for the draft, but that is in just under or a little over 2 weeks from now. I'm going to keep pumping out the content daily, so be on the lookout for that stuff. Tomorrow, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about who is Richard Seeley. That video is going to come up tomorrow. And then of course Tuesday, I'm going to have my good friend Ryan Ventura on the podcast. We're going to talk about the NHL draft, that third overall pick dilemma, and what the Canucks should do. That should be a really fun show. We're going to be live for that one, so be sure to tune in on Tuesday. I will update you guys on an exact time when we have it, but that will for sure happen on Tuesday. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have Izzy Chung joining us at some point. I'm not going to, announce a date yet, but I have spoken to her, and I will be getting her on the show. So I'm excited for that. And of course, I'm excited for more and more guests. I'm going to try and get as many of them as I can here this off season. But once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.